Is there trouble in the NFL's AFC brewing? Is it elimination week already in the NFL? This is Dolphins Post Game, where all the answers to those questions and more will be answered. Dolphins, Saints. Welcome back, Dolphins Nation, to Dolphin Post Game. I'm Thomas McGregor. Fins up.
Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports. From the fans' perspective, here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun.
December is finally here, and yes, indeed, welcome in, Dolphin fans, to Dolphin Postgame on Sports for Beginners and streaming on the ice and behind the benches. With you, as always, is the host, Thomas McGregor. That's me. Welcome in to the show, Dolphins Nation. Could there be trouble in football land for the AFC? We'll soon find out by the time week 15, I should say 13, is up. I'm already thinking it's week 15, but it's only 13th week in the NFL season. Our topic of conversation, the 2-9 Saints versus the 4-7 Miami Dolphins in, of course, the head coaches of Mike McDaniel for the Miami Dolphins. And of course, who else on the head coaching duties? But I'll be real blunt trying to say this. The Dolphins come into this game 4-7 with still hopes of the playoffs. Unbeknown to them and unbeknown to Dolphin Nation heading into this week is the fact of the matter that their playoff hopes could be on the line and they could be the next team out of the NFL postseason. We'll talk about those eliminated teams in just a bit. Perhaps one of those eliminated teams is the team that the Miami Dolphins faced this week. It's Tua Tagovailoa versus Tyler Sherrow, or Tyler S for short, and the team of Dolphins fans seems to be moving in the right direction as it's a club dub edition. How did we get there? Well, let's break it down for you. We don't have inactives to look at, so we're just going to go right to the game. But the kickers to keep an eye out for, Riley Patterson for your Miami Dolphins. And it is, I believe his name is Charlie Smythe, I should say. I'll work at it. Yeah, Charlie Smythe. Charlie Smythe, welcome in to the kicking team for the New Orleans Saints. The venue of choice, Hard Rock, Miami, Florida. And the team of home contender in the Miami Dolphins gets things started with a bang as Devon Achain rushes down the right-hand side for a 29-yard touchdown and gets a point after from Riley Patterson early in the first quarter. And after one quarter of play, it's 7-0 Dolphins over the New Orleans Saints, who at the time, the record right now tells us that it's 2-10 versus the 5-7, but the record at the time was 4-7 versus 2-9. So the 2-9 Saints versus the 5-7 Dolphins. 7-0 the Saints through one quarter of play. 29-yard touchdown run from Devon Achain. What about the rest of this action? What happened in the second quarter? Well, Riley Patterson nails a 39-yard field goal from 39 yards out to take the Dolphins up to an early 10-0 lead. Then he needs to nail a 25-yard field goal to make it 13-0 Dolphins. If he misses, Saints can command a probably defensible touchdown to send it back the other way and get on the board. He nails it 13-0 Dolphins, still in the frame. Another field goal drive for Riley Patterson. His third field goal of the game after the point after from Devon Achain's 29-yard touchdown run. And it's 48 yards up and good through the uprights. At the half, the Dolphins are out to a commanding 16-0 lead over the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans got some ground to make up. Can they make up the ground? Oh, we'll soon find out. But it is 16-0 at the half for the Dolphins over the New Orleans Saints. Do you want to remind you as we go over the second half and get into the game stats before we dive into our first break that the victory speech is coming up if we have a victory speech from the Miami Dolphins? And if not, we'll find a way to send you to the victory speech by leaving a link in the description for you to catch those victory locker room speeches. And also a reminder that before this show wraps up, and hopefully before they kick off, we'll make our Monday Night Football prediction and keys to the game, plus what's next for the Saints and what's next for the Dolphins, followed by game balls of the game, which will follow off the top of our game stats next break. The first break of the program is nearing coming. So into the second half we go, and it's Tyler S. with a deep pass right to C. Olave. If I'm saying that right, I'll go with C.O. Down Saints. They're in for the touchdown, but they want to go for a 2-point conversion. Give it to Tyler for a rush to the right. The attempt does succeed, and the Dolphins went from leading 16-0 to now a 16-8 lead with the Saints on the board, but still trailing by what feels like a margin of a lot. It is 16 Dolphins, 8 Saints. It's an 8-point game for the Dolphins to lead by the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the second half. Only one thing to see, and that is the 2-point conversion plus a touchdown taking place with just 10 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock and 10:40 to go in the third quarter when the 2-point conversion was successfully made. Back to the field goal unit we go, and it's Riley Patterson with a 33-yard field goal attempt up and good. The Dolphins take back some of the 8 points they had lost. 19-8 Dolphins over the New Orleans Saints. 19-8, the New Orleans Saints trail the Miami Dolphins. So they pick up another 3, which adds to their total of now 11 points. Not so fast, says Charlie Schmite. Hopefully I'm saying that right. 56-yard field goal for him, and what was an 11-point game has now become, once again, I believe, an 8-point game as the team of conversation. The Saints have cut the lead from 19-8 to 19-11. That's right. It's back to 8-point lead for the Miami Dolphins, with the score being 19-11 in favor of the Dolphins. All right, thanks, kicker, for keeping us in it. I'll take it from here. Tyler S. passes short right to DV for a 15-yard touchdown, but a 2-point conversion, second time the charm, is blocked. Yeah, that's right. They go for a 2-point conversion despite scoring 17 points, and it's 2 points the other way on a pass intended for DV the second time in a 2-point conversion, which succeeds the other way for the Dolphins, and it's 2 points the other way as Mika Fitzpatrick intercepts the ball and runs it all the way into a touchdown territory, defensive touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. On the intercepted 2-point conversion, it's 2 points the other way, and the Dolphins, despite having it be 17-19 in favor of the Saints, have made this lead from where it was 19-17 in favor of the Dolphins to a 21-17 final score as they take it 21-17 and improve to the records you see above both teams right now heading into next week. The 5-7 Dolphins, who are now a half a game back of both the Buffalo Bills and tonight's opponent taking on the G-Man Giants of the New York Giants. More on them momentarily. It's the 5-7 Dolphins, just half a game back of the New England Patriots and the AFC East. leaders. The Saints, however, are now 2-10 with the 21-17 loss. Yikes, that did not work out as planned for everybody on the New Orleans Saints time. All right, so before we get down to most of the game stats, let's take a look at some of our Sunday action, or I should say Week 13 action that took place in the game. Let's take a look at it as some of our action from Sunday, and of course, everywhere in Thanksgiving have wrapped up in America Thanksgiving. It is post-Turkey week, and post-Turkey week in America is well underway as we count down to Christmas now. But of course, let's take a look at some of the games that went down. Got the Baltimore Ravens 32-14 losers to the Cincinnati Bengals, who now are 6-6, compared to the Bengals, who are 4-8, heading into their next week game. The Chargers take a 31-14 win over the Las Vegas Raiders at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, and improved to 8-4, while the Raiders improved to 2-10 in Seahawk territory. It's a pretty much not bearable game to look at, but the Seahawks shut out the Vikings 20-0 and improved to 9-3 on the season, with the Vikings falling to 4-8. Down in Commander territory, we go to the Broncos against the Commanders. They need overtime. That is Sunday Night Football's clash. But it's the Broncos improving to 10-2, tying the Patriots in the AFC first round bye with a 27-26 final. The Broncos and the Patriots are tied at 10-2 in the record, with a 27-26 overtime victory over the Commanders, who are now 3-9 heading into next week. That, of course, being an opponent we'll look at on the other side if there's time. The Green Bay Packers take it into Detroit. And yes, Detroit Lion fans, I'm sure by now you already know this, but the Detroit Lions do lose this game 31-24 on Thanksgiving weekend, which is of course the start at Thursday. They do lose the game 31-24. Kansas City Chiefs, try as you might, but you lose to the Dallas Cowboys 31-28 and go to a 6-6 record, just like the opponent of conversation in Steeler City, known as the Pittsburgh Steelers at Acrisure Stadium, as the Bills improved to 8-4 with a 26-7 victory over the now 6-6 Pittsburgh Steelers. Dallas Cowboys 31-28 victors over the now 6-6 Kansas City Chiefs, and improved their record to 6-5-1, despite tying the now 8-3-1 Green Bay Packers in that 1 week game, who beat the 7. And lastly, down in Eagle territory, we got the Eagles falling to the now first round bye in the NFC teams, Chicago Bears. Who could have seen this coming? And that was on Friday, just before Sunday's post-Turkey weekend of the American Thanksgiving, as they take down the defending Super Bowl champions. 2015 is the final score there. So they take them down and improve to 9-3, while the defending Super Bowl champions still are not out of it. They are 8-4, despite this loss to the now number 1 seed in the NFC, Chicago Bears. Where could that have come from, you wonder? How about this? The Jets. J-E-T, Jets, versus the ATL Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons. 27-24 victors. They are 3-9 over the now 4-8 Atlanta Falcons. That's the Jets record, 3-9, with a 27-24 beatdown on the Atlanta Falcons. All right, still plenty more games to look at. We are going to take a break here on Dolphin Postgame, and coming up, game stats, some thoughts on this game, a look at Monday Night Football's clash between the Giants and the tied AFC first round bye team in the 10-2 Patriots, plus the victory speech still to come. Game balls as well. You're listening to Dolphins football on Sports for Beginners. This is Dolphins Post Game. Dolphins, Saints, Club Dub edition of Dolphins Post Game, and it continues on Sports for Beginners and streaming on the ASM Behind the Benches right after this. Stick with us.
Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports from the fans' perspective. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun. Hey everyone, it's Scott McGregor here. Join me weekly right here on Sports for Beginners for weekly episodes, your weekly dive in around sports news surrounding the Toronto Blue Jays, Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Raptors, and more. We'll have guests on a week-to-week basis and so much more. Lots of great conversations coming. Be sure to subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. And with that, make sure to like our Facebook page, Sports for Beginners Podcast 87. Just type that into your browser, and you should be sure to find our Facebook page. We'll also provide bonus content. It's going to be a dull moment you'll never want to miss. Check out Sports for Beginners with me weekly for daily news around the sports league, surrounding my favorite sports teams and yours, and so much more. Until then, we'll see you at action time.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
Dolphins win 21-17 over the New Orleans Saints. That's 21-17, the final score, folks, in Week 13's matchup between the New Orleans Saints and your Miami Dolphins. It is a Club Dub edition here on Dolphin Post Game. And while we will get to game balls of the game on the other side of another break here on Dolphin Post Game, it's time now to get into our team stats, our game stats to be precise. Took a little while to get used to the stats that we were getting to when we talked about some of the games, but we managed through it. Let's go through it. As always, the time of possession starts things off, and our stats portion is always used on the CBS Sports app. Download the app for yourself. We're using the website this time at cbssports.com. Of course, we all know what that is when we talk about the NFL on CBS Sports. To the game itself, 38 minutes and 8 seconds of time of possession for the Miami Dolphins. That's 30 minutes and 8 seconds, not 38 minutes, but close. 30 minutes and 8 seconds. And of course, 29 minutes, 52 seconds for the New Orleans Saints, who, despite having 20 first downs, 6 of them rushing, 12 of them passing, were penalized for 2 first downs. Well, obviously, they were probably penalized in the words of the Dolphins got penalized, so automatic first downs, 2 penalties for the New Orleans Saints. The Dolphins got pretty much an equal amount of first downs for both the running game and the passing game. 8 first downs each to tally to just 16 first downs. No penalty markers for them there, despite going 4 for 12 on third down conversions. And the Saints were also able to convert 4 times out of 12 tries on third down. Meanwhile, both teams were unable to convert on fourth down the first chance they got. Total yards, we got 294 yards for 298 yards. That, of course, was the Miami Dolphin yardage, 298 to 294, which is the New Orleans Saints yards. 69 plays for the Saints, 59 of them for the Dolphins. For the Saints, they averaged just 4.3 yards per gain, making a total of 81 rushing yards in 27 rush attempts for an average of 3.0 yards per game, averaging just 5.1 yards per game on 32 rushes and 164 rushing yards was the Miami Dolphins, who averaged just 5 yards a carry on the pass for Tua's completions of 12 out of 23, despite the passing yards being 134 yards compared to Tyler S. with his passing yards of 213 yards, being a 26 out of 38 completion attempt, perfect, averaging just 5.1 yards per carry in a pass. The Saints had 6 out of 45 penalties given to them, 3 of 15 from the Miami Dolphins in terms of penalty yards. So it looks like the Dolphins had less penalties to give in this game and could probably have cared less no matter what happened. But that's okay, because that's how it goes sometimes, right? That's how it goes. And that's pretty much interesting. 2 touchdown passes on the passing game for the New Orleans Saints. Of course, 1 touchdown pass, I should say rushing touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. So the Saints win the touchdown battle. 2 touchdowns, both on the passing game. No passing game whatsoever from the Miami Dolphins, but no other passing touchdowns as in interceptions from the defense. So there was no defensive touchdown, but there were points based on that 2-point conversion defensively taken the opposite way to end our final score 17-21 in favor of the Miami Dolphins. Both teams turned the ball over once. The Saints turned it over twice, recovering and losing a fumble. The Dolphins recovered the ball once on a fumble, never lost it. Yet both quarterbacks, Tyler and Tua, both threw 2 interceptions. In terms of return yards, the Saints had 117 return yards to the Miami Dolphins' 88 yards, of which was 1 punt for 5 yards, while the other one, for the Saints, they had 2 punt returns for 12 yards. Well, one of them was 12 yards, the other, I think, was 5 yards. I'll have to take a look at the highlights there, figure it out. In 4 kickoff returns, the yard returnage was 105. Meanwhile, for 2 kickoff returns, the average yardage was 40. And for the interception, no yards gained on the interception thrown by Tua from the New Orleans Saints interceptor, but the one to intercept Tyler in Mika Fitzpatrick did return the ball for 38 yards on the interception. The Saints were perfect 2 for 2 in the red zone. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, not so much in the red zone. 0 for 2 in this game, and they were not much better in goal to go efficiency. For one chance, they're 0 for 1. Not much to say about goal to go efficiency for the New Orleans Saints, but that's okay. We're going to take you to the locker room for Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins to talk about the victory speech from the 21-17 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Then it's our game balls of the game. So here we go. Coach, take us away.
Team wins are team wins. And now you are 4 of 5, 3 in a row winners. Okay? And a gigantic point-saving pick. Sewell, game ball. 4 tackles, 1.5 sacks, tackle for loss, 3 quarterback hits, Chop Robinson. Achain, initially over 1,000 yards. He's going to be surprised because it was shaking the rest off. Austin Jackson, one-year kicker. Riley, 4 for 4 and an extra point. Learned more about each other. We got better without getting worse. We got another W.
No other group I'd rather be doing this with. No other group. Let's keep stacking. Let's bang out these last 5. I love you too, man. Love you too. Hey, family on me, family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family. Enjoy the win, Dolphins fans. Enjoy the win and get back at it next week. Get back at it next week. Try to get another win. For the Dolphin fans out there who love victory ice cream, you know that when they beat the Saints, they beat a team, regardless. We call it Club Dub here on Dolphins Post Game, which of course helps us with Kyle Krabs, who is the host of Locked On Dolphins. So happy Victory Monday or Tuesday to you, Mr. Kyle Krabs, host of Locked On Dolphins. It is victory ice cream time every time they do it. But of course, for us, let's just dive into the game and talk about it. We're going to do so with our game balls before we take our next time out. But before we do that, let's talk about this game because let's be real. There's a little bit of things to look at when you look at a team like the Dolphins and the Saints. There's a little things to look at. I mean, look, the Miami drives, the first drive started with a touchdown. The first and only touchdown on the ground. That was Devon Achain. It took 6 plays and 69 yards. Time of possession, we had the ball for like 3 minutes and 35 seconds. The next drive, there was 9:01 left to go in the first frame, the first quarter of the first half. Got a stoppage, 3 plays, 2 yards, time to bring out the punter. Next drive, punt. After 3 plays, punt. That was 6:29 to go in the first. What about the first quarter play for the Saints? Well, they punt to start the game, despite having the ball for like 2 minutes and 12 seconds on their first drive at 11:13 to go in the first quarter of half, number 1. Then, of course, they punt again. At 8:03 to go in the first quarter, they punt again with 4:07 to go. And the first quarter for the Saints, punt. Not a very exciting first quarter for the Saints. Yeesh. Don't like saying that very often. Hopefully I don't have to say that very often in the next Saints game that I cover on Dolphin Post Game, whenever that may be. Second quarter, Dolphin drive. Field goal on 8 plays and 68 yards. Time of possession, 2 minutes, 22 seconds. With 2:01 to go in the second quarter on the Miami 11. On the Saints 37-yard line, the next time of possession, interception thrown by Tua, his first pick that he threw on the 37-yard line of New England, of New Orleans, I should say. 7 seconds. Interesting. Took 1 play, interception. Next play results in a field goal. Play after that, field goal. So 2 field goal drives, count them 3 if you don't include the interception drive with 12:31 to go in the second half, first half quarter play. How about them Saints? Well, the first one, they got sacked with 14:01 to go, just a minute 30 time of possession. Then they punted, literally not having the ball for like 49 seconds in 3 plays and punt. That's now the 4th punt they've had this first half. Next play, pick, interception, and okay, could things be turning a corner? Well, it certainly looked like they were turning a corner, but nothing to say here. So it looks like there was 2 interceptions drawn by Tyler S. Because the very next play, after that was in 6 minutes of the second quarter to go in the first half, there was only 2 drives in New Orleans' case for the second half start. One resulted in a touchdown in just 10 plays for 65 yards and a time of possession a little bit longer than they've had it in the first half, 4 minutes 20 seconds. The next play, they punt after 8 plays and 32 yards. Miami, third quarter half. They punt and then they punt again. Third quarter is in the books for the Dolphins. Let's go to the fourth half. In the fourth quarter and the last half of play. So the Saints start the game with a turnover on downs on a minute 15, then 3:03 to go. We have 7 plays, 55 yards, touchdown, Saints. Just a minute 46. A minute 51 into the game, a possession, which was literally 15 seconds in to the game. 3 plays, -2, a punt. 5th punt of the game for the Saints. And the second, which was green, the first field goal of the second half. 3 minutes, 23 seconds time of possession with 10 plays for 37 yards. And the Dolphins' fourth quarter drive should be a little less helpful to look at. But let's take a look. So touchdown, field goal, interception, field goal, punt, field goal, game. So there you go. That's everything in a nutshell. Now, let us look at this and see what was the plan going into this. Was the Dolphins' idea to win this game to make Buffalo or any of the other areas in the AFC sweat? Probably. Did it work? Maybe. Anyways, it is a Club Dub edition. One thing that stands out to me in this game is the fact that both teams threw interceptions, but there's one play that seems to be a talking point, and that's the fumble that the Dolphins made and recovered, but it looks as though it was taken back by the ref to give the Saints the ball. I'm going to have to take a look at this and dive into it a little more deeper on the next edition of Dolphins Postgame. Should something like this happen next week against the next opponent for the Miami Dolphins, which we're going to get to on the other side of another break. And we're going to take that break right now. So when we come back, what's next for the Saints? What's next for the Dolphins? Is Monday Night Football underway? And I'm pretty sure it is by now. But even if it is or not, what is next for both teams? And what are my keys to victory? Coming up next when Dolphin Postgame continues. Stick right with us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Hi, Scott.
It's Ali here. I just wanted to mention that I'm really enjoying the show and I'm really enjoying what you're putting together. And I wanted to just say I'm enjoying being a part of it as well. So please keep up the phenomenal work and make sure you guys keep this podcast going because it really suits you well.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
This is Dolphins Post Game on the Ice and Behind the Benches and streaming on Sports for Beginners. 2021, the Dolphins beat the New Orleans Saints as they improved to 5-7. If you missed it earlier, we'll have a link in the description of this episode for the victory speech between the 21-17 victors, the Miami Dolphins, and the New Orleans Saints, as well as post-game video availability. And of course, you can hear from coaches Mike McDaniel and K. Moore. You can hear from him as well on the New Orleans Saints video availabilities for the post-game shows as well. Some news coming in ahead of the PWHL recap, but we'll touch on that after we get out of here on Dolphin Postgame. A reminder to women hockey fans and men hockey fans of the Professional Women's Hockey League. We will be covering 2 games for you. That is tonight's matchup upcoming Tuesday against the Ottawa Charge and the Minnesota Frost as the Charge cap off their 3-game homestand with a match between the defending Walter Cup champions, Minnesota Frost. Puck drop at p.m. Eastern, p.m. Central, if I am not mistaken. That is the time of the PWHL game between the Charge and the Frost. Then join us on both Sports for Beginners and, of course, On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Both recaps found on the Ice and Behind the Benches, and of course on Sports for Beginners as well. All right, back to our topic of conversation. And before we get into our game balls of the game, let's take a look at where the New Orleans Saints are headed right now. And then we'll take a look at where the Dolphins are headed this week after we've gone through our game balls of the game for the New Orleans Saints. Then it's time for the Monday Night Football clash of where the Patriots and the G-Man Giants will be at that point. Let us take a look at what the schedule looks like. The schedule is pretty much loss. They picked up a victory against the G-Man Giants 26-14 back on the 5th week of the regular season. Then they lost again to the Buffalo Bills, other opponent, New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, an L as well. And just recently, before losing to the Atlanta Falcons the previous week by a score of 24-10. And then, of course, this week, 21-17 to the Dolphins. They beat the Carolina Panthers 17-7 for their bye week on the 11th of the NFL season. That leaves them with a matchup next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. They'll then come home for 2 games against both the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. The first matchup of the regular season and only matchup of the regular season against the New York Jets, December 21st, which is the 16th week of the regular season, coming up in just 2 weeks' time. And then, of course, the Tennessee Titans play the New Orleans Saints before the last week of the season when they'll play the Atlanta Falcons one final time during the new year, and that will be on January 4th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with their home finale at Caesars Superdome against the Jets. So up to this point, we only have 3 road games left, but when we're done with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, only 2 road games left and 2 home games left for the New Orleans Saints. All right, time now for the game balls of the game, as we need to get in to our Monday night preview for the New England Patriots and the G-Man Giants of New York. Fortunately, we do not have time to go over the playoff picture, but via my phone, I'll go over it quickly as we're on our screen where the final score is 21-17. I'll just go over it quickly via CBS Sports on my phone. The playoff picture looks like this, folks. Denver is sort of right now in the first round bye for the AFC, not for the AFC East or for Denver's division. The entire AFC East is now on Denver with a record of 10-2, and that came courtesy of their victory that they accomplished on Sunday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. Now, standings-wise, that puts them atop the AFC West. Behind them is the AFC East leader, the New England Patriots, who is in battle right now with the G-Man Giants by the time we're listening to this. One of the first teams that was officially mathematically eliminated from the postseason. If the playoffs were to start this year, like right now, next week, the Bills would take on the New England Patriots in Foxborough, and the Indianapolis Colts would take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who currently are 8. Both teams are 8-4, but they would face each other if the playoffs were to start next week. Chargers team. Meanwhile, in the NFC, the playoff picture would look like this. The San Francisco 49ers would face off against the LA Rams, who are 9-3. The 8-4 defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will take on the 8-3-1 Green Bay Packers. The 9-3 LA Rams will take on the 9 Francisco 49ers. Seattle would take on the 7-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as they are 9-3. Teams out of the playoffs right now. Like I said, I'll be quick here with the playoff picture and then get into our game balls of the game. The teams out so far in the AFC East, just 2 teams, the Las Vegas Raiders and, of course, the Tennessee Titans are gone. But meanwhile, there are 2 teams gone in the AFC. There are now 3 teams gone in the NFC. Those include Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, the New Orleans Saints, and as we mentioned, Monday Night Football's opponent for the New England Patriots, the G-Man Giant, the New York Giants. So the New Orleans Saints, yes, if you are listening to New Orleans Saints and Dolphin Football here on Dolphin Post Game, I am saddened to tell you that your season will be over by the time we finish the NFL 2025-2026 regular season and get into the postseason. Does that mean it'll be done for the Dolphins? Time will tell at the point. But it is elimination week in the NFL, so only time will tell. Let's get to our game balls of the game, and we'll start with the quarterbacks, because I do think it was worth mentioning how good, despite the interceptions thrown, I do think it was good to talk about Tua and Tyler's performance. The picks from both teams in interceptions were unacceptable. However, it was not so unacceptable, I should say, that we would get such teams like that, to have such a battle like that. So it's not too bad of a game. Not too bad. Really, it isn't. So it was quite refreshing in some regards. We're having a little bit of trouble here with the thing popping up, so we're going to wait it out and then we'll go back to it. But Tua and Tyler are my first game balls of the game for both Miami and New Orleans. Now, while it is technically a victory Monday and a victory Tuesday here on Dolphin Post Game for Miami Dolphin fans, I do want to hope that the New Orleans Saint fans are feeling a little bit better after the loss. Not because of what happened to them this past Sunday, in week 13, but more because they know that there's another game, and this time, now that they know that they're eliminated, the Dolphins and the Saints played a really good game. least in my opinion, they played a good game, guys. But in the end, someone's got to lose and someone's got to win. My players of the game, as mentioned, in game ball form, we have quarterbacks in Tyler. And yes, I said it, Tua is a star player of the game as well. Following those guys, give it up for, I believe his name is Tyreek Hill. There's been some conversations about Tyreek Hill, but give him up. He had a interesting game as well. I thought he had a really good game. No plays for him this time, but it's okay. Still being a team's player, and that's all you could do. Oh, I didn't even realize he was with the Saints. Oh, well, he is your Saints' second player of the game for the game balls of the game. How about Jalen Waddle? The Penguin of the Dolphins. Yeah, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 40 yards, no touchdowns. Longest touchdown reign was 22 yards. Good job by him. And what about DV? 8 targets, 8 receptions, 993 yards, 1 touchdown. The longest passing could have been a little bit better for him. He's your third and final player of the game and game balls of the game to give to. I do think, though, that Charlie Smith does deserve some credit here. So I'll give him a runner-up. And Ollie Gordon the second. What can I say about Ollie Gordon? Not much, maybe, but I really like how he played the rush. 10 yards, 3 attempts on the ground. It's a pretty good job there. Washington, 5 targets, 4 reception yards, 30 yards receiving, 19 his longest yards. He's your third and final Dolphins game ball of the game. Despite the Dolphins going to 5-7 on a 21-17 victory over the 2-9, now 2-10 New Orleans Saints. All right, on the other side, we will continue our game balls of the game with our player of the actual game and what's next for the Miami Dolphins plus Monday Night Football's preview between the Dolphins AFC opponent, the New England Patriots, and the G-Man Giants. The game is currently underway, but we're going to preview it anyway. So that's all coming up when Dolphin Postgame on Sports for Beginners and on the ice and behind the benches continues. Stick with us. We wrap up on the other side.
Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
Dolphins and the Saints have played each other in week number 13 of the NFL season. I am your host, Thomas McGregor of Dolphins Post Game. Dolphin fans, Saints fans, one can't have the words to say how good of a season it's been, depending on who you ask about this entire NFL season for Miami Dolphins or the New Orleans Saints. Well, it could be going down in the New Orleans Saints for the offseason. New Orleans Saints fans, the best thing the New Orleans Saints want you to remember is the good times, the happy times, and best of all, that you were able to celebrate with them when it was victory territory. Because even though it feels like there aren't many victories left in the tank, you get off-season thoughts and you get to figure out where this team is headed next year. But enough about that. We still have a season to play. One team's got to win, one team's got to lose. Unfortunately, in Dolphins' case, it was the Saints that had to lose and the Dolphins that had to win. And Dolphin fans were very happy that we got the win, so we're enjoying our victory ice cream, whatever it may be that you're using. But of course, season's not over till NFL says it's over. So anything can happen, folks. Anything can happen. And that's saying a lot coming out of what could be a match worth watching again and again. We are going to get into our Dolphins and Saints player of the game in just moments, folks. But as we see, our score here is 17-7 in favor of the Patriots. Let's preview that Monday Night Football matchup playing out in Foxborough. We mentioned the Patriots have some ground to keep up with the Denver Broncos now holding the AFC's first round bye. So what does this mean? We ask ourselves. Well, to me, it means that the Patriots could be in trouble despite Bills and the Dolphins being half a game back of the Patriots in the AFC East, and if they're lucky, even closer to taking over the AFC East and maybe taking over the AFC in general. But the season's still very, very young, although it feels very, very, and the playoffs are around the corner. So it's crunch time at this point. The key for me, given that we are looking at the second quarter of play here and knowing that the games are underway, the key for me for a Patriots or Giants win is to grab a lead and stay ahead. Do not take the unnecessary penalties that you need to take unless they're absolutely necessary. And let's have a good amount of play clock management. On the defensive side, I haven't seen a lot of Patriots or Giants football, but I do think that clock management will mean a lot in this game. There's 7:34 to go in the game of the first half, second quarter, and the Patriots put up 17 points early in the first. Now, here come the Giants. But of course, those are my keys to a Patriots or Giants win. And my pick to win this game, I'm expecting a Patriots loss, as many of you Dolphin fans are. But give me the Giants winning this game, coming back 30-17, the final score. They coming from behind. And Dolphin fans, if that does not look possible, give me the Patriots. This is going to scare Bills Mafia. It's going to scare you, Dolphins Nation, a little bit. Maybe not as much as the Bills, but I'll say give me the Patriots 21-14 in Monday Night Football through an overtime thriller. I think it could go to OT. You just never know. That's my pick to win Monday Night Football. If it goes in the Patriots' favor, I think it's going to go to OT. Well, it's going to be tied 14-14, and it's going to come down to the last game-winning touchdown. I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong, but you never know. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. Next time on Dolphins Postgame, we're talking to you with the Dolphins against the Jets, who last couple of weeks, week number 4 to be exact, lost to the Miami Dolphins 27-21. The first ever win of the regular season for the New York Jets over the entire NFL schedule for the Miami Dolphins. They then pulled off a victory against the Atlanta Falcons, 34-10. And then, of course, the previous week before this week, an 30-13 over the Buffalo Bills. And then in OT, took it 16-13 down in Madrid against the Commanders. So next up at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, Sunday, December 7th, it's the Dolphins Post-Game show of the Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. As the elimination week in the NFL continues, who's next going to be eliminated next week? We'll find out before the week is up. Then it's Monday Night Football at Acrisure Stadium, and the Steelers host the Miami Dolphins at 8:15 on Monday Night Football. I believe it's on Monday Night Football. It's December 15th. Back on it on Sunday Night Football at 8:20, December 21st, 2025, at Hard Rock Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a fun one there. Kickoff at 8:20 p.m. 7:20 Central, Hard Rock Stadium. And then the last game before they head on over to Foxborough in Hard Rock Stadium. Give it up, folks, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central on Fox at Hard Rock Stadium. The last game is in Foxborough, and that's the last road game for your Miami Dolphins this season. Time still to be determined, but it'll be at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough on January 4th, 2026. As we inch closer to the playoffs, my thinking is that game is going to be a 1 o'clock start, but you never know. Anything can happen, folks. You just know what could happen. Next week, after the Jets, is 8:15. Monday Night Football, Steelers and the Dolphins. We'll have a Dolphin Post Game on Sports for Beginners for you after the game Tuesday when you can catch it, win or loss. We're hoping it's a win, but you never know. The Steelers, we're hoping for a win against the Miami Dolphins, opponent of the AFC East, and the Buffalo Bills, so that they could claim their chance to be in first place, but of course they lost to the Buffalo Bills 27 in Buffalo. 10 minutes 38 seconds to go in the second quarter of Monday Night Football's game. And the final scores that we'll look at: 27-24 Jets over Falcons. Texans win it 20-16 over the Indianapolis Colts. Their record 7-5 to an 8-4 Colts. The LA Rams 31-28. The Jaguars send the Titans to 1-11 on the season with an 8-4 record of a 25-3 beatdown. And if you heard Tyler Rowland speaking on Locked On Tennessee Titans, it would be a ugly reminder that they are just still not playing football. The Panthers win. The Jaguars win. The Dolphins win against the Saints, as we all know. The Browns, 26-8 victors over the winners. I should say the 49ers with the victory, the Browns with the loss. The Bills, 27 victors. Seattle with the only shutout, 26-0. Denver wins it in OT, 27-26 over the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. At 31-14, you got the Raiders against the Chargers. Chargers reign supreme in that one. The defending Super Bowl champions are still in it, but how much longer are they in it? The Bears, 24-15 victors in this week's matchup against the Eagles. The Packers, victors against the Lions, 31-24. And the Ravens fall 32-14. Their next opponent, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who could win that one, you wonder? You never know. The Chiefs, 31-28 losers to the Dallas Cowboys. And that's our Week 13 scores. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with some final thoughts on the other side of a 30-second timeout word from Sienna T Radio. But before we do that, I want to give Charlie Smythe a Player of the Game award for the Player of the Game in the New Orleans Saints, as I believe he did really well. Not the game that he and his team wanted, obviously, but not missing a field goal, going a perfect 1-for-1 with 56 being his longest field goal range he's got. That was pretty good job by him. Sucks that they didn't get the win, but that's how it goes sometimes. Dolphins, Club Dub Edition between the Saints and the Dolphins wraps up on the other side in 30 seconds. The Dolphin Player of the Game and final thoughts next. Stay with us. All right, thanks very much, Sienna T Radio, for that word. And of course, be sure to stream the things like the Song Bank, the Cosmopolitan Culture Club, the Melting Pot, all those shows you love on Sienna T Radio, making your day brighter. one song at a time, usually heard on Saturdays, casually heard sometimes on Fridays, and maybe every alternate Thursday. We've got the Classical Cafe, the Hourglass. You never know what can happen on TNT Radio. It's the Dolphins, it's the Saints on Dolphin Post Game. Next time, it's the Dolphins and the Jets. We're going to tee up that game in just a few seconds from now. But before we get there, let's talk about the game before I get over to the Dolphin player of the game. And I mean, look, I have no words to say on this game other than it was an interesting game. It wasn't as entertaining as I thought it would be, but I didn't even watch the entire game, and I know saying that on the air will sound like, well, if you didn't watch the game, why didn't you take a moment to watch the highlights, Thomas? Well, I was following the game. I was following it, and I tried my very best to catch at least a bit of the game. Well, a bit of the game. I tried to catch a bit of the game, and it didn't obviously work. That's how it goes sometimes. But I thought both teams played exceptionally well. It wasn't a good game by any stretch of the imagination, but that's how it goes sometimes, right? That's how it goes sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about it. I'm happy that we got the win, Dolphins Nation. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy we got the win, but I really wish it could have been better played. And while it could have been the refs that stole the game from us, Dolphins Nation, I honestly don't think that was the case. I just think they couldn't take care of business until they could. And when they did take care of business. And a win is a win, with a loss being a loss. At the end of the day, Saints fans and Dolphin fans, someone's got to lose and someone's got to win. Unfortunately for the Saints, it was the Dolphins with the win and the Saints with the loss. But here's the good thing, Saints fans. With your bye week in the rearview mirror, your next focus is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So good luck to you on that one next Sunday, December 7th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. Hopefully there's a victory to celebrate next Sunday for the Saints. You never really know. For us, Dolphins fans, it's the Jets. And while I am thinking that it will be interesting to talk about a club dub edition with the Jets, with the postseason odds being really, really close, I'm just hoping for a good game, everybody, on the Jets and Dolphins side. So someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. Enjoy the dub right now, Dolphins Nation. Enjoy the game, Saints Nation. Enjoy the rest of the NFL season, football fans in general, because that is almost it for this one. The Dolphins player of the game to wrap us up, none other than Ollie Gordon. I've said what I had to say about him before I even talked about it, and I'll say it again. Really good game by Ollie Gordon, the second. I thought there was a little bit better from Tipton, one of the kicker returners from the New Orleans Saints. But nevertheless, Ollie Gordon II is your Dolphins player of the game. And while I would usually do attendance records, there's no attendance records in football. Hard as you try to find an attendance record. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. See if we can find one. Anyway, Dolphins are 5-7. They are a game back of the New England Patriots and tied with the Buffalo Bills at a half a game back. Next Sunday, who knows what happens in tonight's Monday Night Football game? Are the Patriots in sole possession of the AFC first round bye, or are they still on the ropes? Who knows? All we can do is enjoy the games as they happen and enjoy the football season. I've enjoyed most of the football season so far, and I hope you have too. Reminder to Dolphin fans that as soon as the Dolphin season does end, we will have a season and review show only on Sports for Beginners. So I hope you join us for that when the offseason officially kickstarts for the Dolphins. We'll have so much to talk about, I'm sure of it. But for now, that is it for this one. The Dolphins, 21-17 victors in front of an attendance record as we found here on our Discord app here on my phone of 63,864 fans in attendance. 63,864 fans in attendance for the game down in Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. Tyler with the loss, Tua with the win. Next up for Tyler and the Saints, they are on to play the Buccaneers. Meanwhile, next time you see me on Dolphin Postgame, we're talking about either a win or a loss to the New York Jets. It's an AFC East clash one final time this regular season between the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are as well. So fins up until then. My name is Thomas McGregor. Enjoy your football weekend preparation for this Sunday against the Jets, December 7th, and enjoy the rest of the football season, folks, until we next talk to you again. If you like what you're listening to, tell all your friends. Dolphins win 17. Enjoy your Victory Tuesday, Victory Monday, whenever this is coming out to you. I'll see you with the Jets and the Dolphins next time on Dolphin Postgame. Until then, fins up.
Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time.